Welcome, welcome. My name is Andrew Kidd. I am a certified health coach. And today I have my good friend Eric Boyette here. And the reason for this interview is because I want to share some success stories that have happened on the program, actually, that we both coach for. And so, what I like to do is not only have them share their story as I kind of interview whoever I end up talking to. Today it's Eric, but also if they became a health coach, I'm probably going to explore that a little bit with them too, so they can share that part of their story. Before I start with Eric, I want to share kind of how I know Eric. So in 2003, I decided to become I was going to say a health coach. No, that's not true. I was going to become a private investigator with a company called Omega Insurance Services. And at that time, Eric was, I believe, like an assistant manager. And so I ended up falling under his territory, and I flew out to Florida and I met with him and another gentleman. And Eric became my first private investigation mentor. And we worked together for several years with that company. And eventually we all kind of went different directions, but Eric and I still stayed in touch. We weren't close friends by any means, but we always kind of kept tabs on each other. And then one day, I had posted something. I'd started my own health journey and I'd shared it on Facebook, and Eric had liked it or something. And I said, "Hey, Eric, thanks for liking that post." And I go, "If you know anybody that I can help doing this," and mind you, I was still working as a private investigator. I said, "If you know anybody, let me know." And he says, "Well, I don't really know anybody," and I'm kind of paraphrasing. But I would be interested in hearing about what your program's about. And I said, "Cool, let's talk later today." He said, "Okay." And I went to call him, and he didn't answer. And about 2 or 3 days later, I'm in a parking lot waiting to pick up my kids from school. And Eric calls me. He says, "Hey, do you have a second to talk about it?" And I shared the program with him. And I followed up with him about 3 days later. And he says, "Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start this program with my wife." And so that was kind of like the beginning of my interaction with Eric on this health journey. So, Eric, let's back up in my story. What was happening at the time? Like, we text message back and forth at that moment. Kind of what was happening in your world at that time?
Wow. So I had been married not too long. Stacy and I had gotten together, and I was working as director of SIU at another new firm, which basically just meant I had a corporate job. I was working. We always say 9 to 5, but it's never 9 to 5, right? It's more like 8 to 6 plus the commute.
Hmm.
And I'm a father of four. I was nearly 300 pounds, and I had a lot going on. Stacy, me having moved from kind of bachelorhood to moving in with Stacy, she of course brought back that "hey, take care of yourself" attitude to my world, which is something us guys tend to really kind of stick to the side when we're alone. So started getting back to the doctor, and the doctor is like, "Look, man, you're nearly 300 pounds. Your blood pressure is through the roof." I was having serious, some pretty serious headaches as a result of the blood pressure, which I didn't know was even a thing. I thought I was having a stroke the first time that happened, but I don't want to get too far into it. But it scared me. Kind of in the process of figuring all that out. I already had high cholesterol. I was taking medication for that. And the doctor said, "By the way, you're pre-diabetic." Big shocker, because you're overweight and you've been eating crap for years. So that was kind of my world. When you came along, they were ramping me up on medications, and suddenly I went from, bachelor carefree kind of guy to not any worse for it, but actually realizing how bad my health was. And the doctor's just throwing pills at me. I mean, I was taking a half dozen pills a day and a shot in the stomach for the pre-diabetes. So I needed something, and I didn't know what I needed. That's when I guess you picked my interest a little bit there. Now, for my side of the story, I do remember you had reached out and we set up a call. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was of the phone rang, but I was driving, or I was like busy, and I kind of have made a career out of procrastination anyway. And I was just like, "Yeah, well, I'll talk to Andrew eventually. I don't want to get into it right now." Because getting into it meant what? Yeah, I didn't know what it meant. To me, it was a scary thing of like, now I'm going to have to put aside like good life because being fat and not able to do anything and never being home to see my kids apparently was the good life. I don't know what made it good other than I drink beer every day and ate pizza whenever I wanted. I guess that was, quality life. But yeah, I saw your phone ring me, and I said, I'll talk to him another time. And then I guess I called you back. Probably that appointment with the headaches, I think, was kind of in there because I feel like I remember that was the kind of straw that broke the camel's back when they told me I need to start giving myself a shot every day because I was not big on needles. So that kind of made me think I need to change something.
Yeah. No, that's great. I ended up following up with you a couple days after we did these health assessments, just kind of make sure it's a good fit for folks. I mean, did you talk to the wife? What made you say yes? What was because that's sometimes the hardest part to get started is like the step, right?
Sure.
What made you say,
Well, certainly the answer immediately after our call in my mind was, I don't know. You know, it costs some money. I don't know what I thought that it was, it would be free or something. I don't know what my expectation was, but you had advised me how to kind of look at that and some of the stuff I was going to be offsetting as far as, buying healthy food instead of, unhealthy food. And I realized it made a lot of sense as far as that went. And I guess I kind of pitched it to Stacy deep down, probably hoping she was going to be like, no, we can't. We know that stuff never works. We're never going to do that because I wanted to believe in it. But at the same time, like I said, I don't think I really wanted to do anything. I wanted I wanted a quick fix. Well, I
hmm,
did find a quick fix, but as with all things, it still involved some work. It involved me challenging myself and, being willing to change some habits and stuff. So anyway, Stacy was like, "Hey, like, why not?
wow.
Let's give it a shot. Well, we can do it a month or two, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work."
No, I love that, man. I love that. Now, you end up saying yes because obviously we're here talking.
Hmm.
I do remember, even as part of the program is, we kind of guide folks through the program, making sure they're doing everything right, and then we get on weekly calls, and a lot of that's for cheerleading and accountability. Um, I remember, and we do talk about this, even not even an interview. We just joke about it because you were not interested in that part as we got started, right? Like it was. Um, what was the feelings you were having? Did you feel like this was a diet? Did you feel like it was an inconvenience? Were you still kind of learning about the program? What was happening?
Well, sure. I think, well, first of all, I think you were a new coach at the
I
time. So,
was, I was very new.
I know anybody that comes to you now, probably you're much better at letting them know what's going on. And maybe you probably told me,
Right.
and from my mind at the time, now keeping in mind, folks, like I'm a coach now too. So I'm not
Yeah.
making fun of Andrew in any
No,
way.
I
I
didn't think that.
learned from him. I do this stuff. And it's our job as coaches to really get past this because with me, and Andrew, I was absolutely like, whatever, man. I mean, what do I need to talk to you for? Just, I'm gonna eat the food and great. I can send you a text message, tell you how much weight I lost. Let's move on.
Right. It's true.
But Andrew, really, I think just through watching you and seeing what was going on with you, especially on the coaching side, and like you said, we worked together. I mean, I saw that you weren't taking cases as often, and
Mm,
in our discussions, I knew that you were doing okay for yourself financially, and you just seemed happier. And I don't know, somewhere along the line, I got over the hump of thinking it was a diet and actually started reading and listening and realizing that I needed to be honest with myself about changing habits and figuring out why my desires were what they were.
mm,
I mean, it's not an easiest thing in the world to when you're in something. I mean, for me, I refer to it as an addiction, absolutely.
mm,
Like when you're in an addiction, you don't want to think about abstaining from what you're addicted to. It's
right.
not it's not appealing.
No.
But once you free yourself of that, and I think that for me is really what led to the mental side was that the physical side started happening. And I just started realizing maybe there was more to it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, tell me, like, well, I mean, I know the answer, but tell the folks that are watching this, like, what was your success on program? What's been your success? Tell me about that.
Oh, wow. Well, the first month I lost, well, actually, no, first week, I believe I lost 12 pounds. Stacy lost something like 9. By the end of the first month, I was down 22. She was down 18.
Hmm.
3 months in was just when my mind was just blown. I mean, the having a great first week was amazing, but by 90 days in, I was down practically 50 pounds, right in that range, and Stacy was down around 40. That was the first time I went back to the doctor. You know, he had me coming in quarterly. 40 years old. And the doctor's like, you got to come in every 3 months because your heart, you know, all this stuff's out of control. Um, so 3 months in, he's like, wow, you've lost 50 pounds. Your blood pressure's going back to normal. We're going to start peeling you off some of those medications. My A1C, which is my blood sugar average, was back down the normal ranges. No more shot in the stomach. Um, Cholesterol was fine. Good cholesterol was where it was supposed to be, something I had never heard. So it took me off of the statins. Um, and really, I just felt so much better. I mean, that's the part. I always get stuck in talking about these statistics, but the statistics don't even matter. It's just the way I felt and the way that Stacy and I felt together. I mean,
Hmm.
we were already newlyweds, but like for us both to be getting healthy together and gaining this energy and confidence, it just was really changing things for us. Ultimately, I lost 80 pounds and she lost 86 pounds. That was about 7.5 months of a journey for us.
No, I love that. And
And I became a coach along the way. So I'm
yeah, no,
sure
we're
we
going to
can
get into
talk
that. But
about that a little.
one thing I do remember along the way, and this is actually before you became a health coach, I remember that you had some health competition happening at work,
Yeah.
and I do remember that you won
Yeah.
during that time. Whatever was it? Was it a weight loss challenge? Is that what was happening? Or
Yeah, that's not really even fair if you're coming on this program.
right?
They, I'm like on the program I'd already been on. In fact, I was a little ticked off because I'm like, man, they started this thing. I'd already lost like 20 pounds when they started it. I'm like,
Right.
"Argh." You know, I'm figuring that was it. I had lost weight before. I know how it goes. You lose quick for a couple of weeks and then
Right.
it's hard to keep it going, is what I thought was going to happen. But signed up for that. They were basically doing a percentage, you know, who lost the most, you know, body weight by percentage or whatever. And yeah, I ended up taking the top prize. I guess I was down 40 something pounds by the end of that period.
Yeah, I still remember the photographs, and I'm sure there's somewhere in your Facebook timeline of like you holding your trophies or whatever you got in your plaques, and it's like you're in the parking garage or something. That's
Right?
what I remember. Yeah, so yeah, that's so
I
awesome.
saw those in a memory, but now even those are out of date. I look at those and I was right to be proud, like it was great. But
Yeah,
now I look at them and I'm like, man, I was tubby. I
you're
was a little,
still even
things were a
okay.
little loose. Like, where's my arms? You know, like
Right.
nothing's right. So
No,
that's the
absolutely.
great thing is even though, you know, I reached my goal weight within 7.5 months, you know, the energy and the motivation that comes along with that and learning the healthy habits
Mm,
you teach in the program. Uh, I mean, I don't even know how to quantify that. Like now I enjoy things that I mean, it was my thing. If somebody said literally, hey, Eric, let's go for a walk at lunch, I'd be like, why? That's ridiculous. I mean, it was a joke to me. I was like,
right.
why would I do physical activity? I could go home and I could drink a beer and I could watch TV. Like that is my whole desire in life. And now I'm like, man, work is pulling me away from going to ride my bike for 20, 30 miles or, you know, because now I love it. Now it's, you know, when we talk about lifestyle change, and that's the reason I kind of harp on this is because that is what it means to me. You know, the whole driver, the whole what is important to me, what do I like changed. It wasn't about gaining the willpower to do exercise against my will, which, by the way, I didn't do any exercise during the process of losing the 80 pounds. It's kind of after the fact that I really got into bike riding and stuff. But just now having the drive and having that be something I desire, that's what it's all about because now I have a habit of health. Now what I want to do, I get to do, and it benefits me mentally and physically
Yeah.
and financially
Yeah.
and
So
spiritually, I guess you could even say, when you get your cup filled from helping people. And
that's very true.
awesome.
Tell me some of the, we talk about non-scale victories, and I know like all the health benefits you already mentioned are many of those. And I know you're way more active than you were. Like you said, you wouldn't even entertain exercise. I know because your friend, and I watch you on Facebook. You're doing this kayaking canoe thing like all the time. You're biking and you're going on nature hikes and taking photos. These are things that I don't think you were doing at all beforehand. But what are some of the other non-scale victories that you would say that you've had since doing the program?
Oh, good grief, man. There's just so many. I mean, having the time to have a hobby, um, well, I'm skipping around here a little, I guess, but like, I became a health coach, and that ended up resulting in more time freedom and the
Mm,
ability to even have a hobby. I mean, like I said, I was working 50 hours a week plus a commute. I mean, there was no time for me. It was rush home, maybe say hello to the kids before bed,
yeah.
and live for the I'd say live for the weekend, which that's totally a misnomer. Like, it's silly that that's the way I thought, because my weekends were terrible.
Mm,
We weren't doing anything. I'm living for the weekend, so what? So I could lay on the couch, maybe my kids would come snuggle with me for a minute. I'm watching TV. Like, okay,
right.
get out of here.
Right.
So the non-scale victory is that now uh I have a lot more time to spend with them and a lot more energy to do things with them. So we're more likely to be out and about, checking out a park, playing in the yard, doing sports together, and things like that. So our quality time together is huge. Little things like my daughter, well, she's big enough now, she could probably wrap her hands around me no matter how big I was. But, she told me, Dad, I'm now able to give you a hug all the way around.
No.
Um, I saw a belt. I had to put holes in a belt until it was basically about to wrap around me twice. I mean, I went from 42 to 44 jeans waist size, all the way down to 32 at my
Mm.
dentist.
I love that, man. I love that. Well, I definitely want to talk about coaching. You've kind of been sprinkling it into the conversation. You can't talk. I mean, especially if you become a health coach, it's difficult to not share both as you're even sharing your health experience. So, what was, and here's kind of how it usually evolves. Like, we walk a client through their first week of program, and we always do a little bit of a celebration systems check at the end of the week. And for you, you got on a call with Cindy and I's health coaches, Josh. I think it was just Josh Bamba, and he did a systems check with you, but he also talked to you about, hey, this is just real quick. You know that there's no special degree to become a health coach with this program. Anybody can do it. And I don't necessarily remember your reaction, but I know that's like the first time that we really talked about it. I don't even think Cindy and I talked to you about it then. And then you kind of fast
Oh,
forward, and a few months had gone by, and then all of a sudden, and this is what I remember, but I want to know why this all happened. Like, I remember you posted a before and after yourself, wherever you were in that health journey. Maybe you lost 40, 50, I don't even remember. And I know that someone reached out. I want to take that part from you, but I do remember you saying, well, I guess I'm becoming a health coach. What the heck happened? Like, seriously, because I still would love to go back in time and really like document every little moment that happened. But what was
right.
going on? What happened?
Well, becoming a health coach was just kind of a fluke. I mean, they did talk to me about it. I'm pretty sure my reaction was a scoff. I mean, I had all of these preconceptions about what that would mean. And
Hmm.
in retrospect, it's kind of funny because I saw what you were doing, and obviously it didn't chase me off. I was drawn to you because you were positive, and your health was moving in the right direction. But for someone to say you could do that, I guess part of it was just like, oh, I couldn't do what Andrew's doing. And the second part was I was still stuck in my fat guy mentality. I mean, it was just ludicrous
Hmm.
to me. Like, health coach. I'm the guy that meet you after work for a happy hour. I mean, I'm not a health coach. I'm the guy that is going to talk to you outside at work while we smoke cigarettes.
Right.
I'm the guy who's 300 pounds nearly and wants to just get home and lay on the couch. So I just could not even justify that. I could not get those to work together.
Mm,
But over time, I think you mentioned it to me a few more times. So I
mm,
started thinking, well, I mean, yeah, I could probably do it. I wouldn't do it exactly how Andrew did it, of course, but maybe I could do it. Still, I'm like, this is one of those things where it's online, it's internet based, and I just all these things are bad in my mind. I don't think that actually, number one, can't work. First and foremost, I mean, that was just my impression. It won't work. I will lose a lot of money and I won't make anything. I wasn't even thinking about outcomes of whether I could help other people. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it because I knew the program worked. Like, why wouldn't I just share it with a few people? But I guess in my mind, I thought it was going to be some big investment or a whole lot of work that I
mm,
just wasn't ready to commit to. So when we actually talked about it and I realized that was not the case, uh, that I could get started for next to nothing. And like you said, I basically had shared some results, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, I don't care what you're doing. Uh, take my money, basically. Like, sign me up because you've lost 40 pounds and you're looking incredible. I can tell you're feeling great. Like, I want in on this." So that's when I called you and we said did it. But I'll skip right past that because that was more of just, it was kind of like starting. You see a pattern here. Like, you convinced me to start program, but I didn't fully commit. And then you convinced me to some degree that maybe I could health coach. And I'm like, sure, but I didn't really commit or understand what that meant. But kind of at the same time, things at my job were not going well. And I won't get into the details there, but it was just, I didn't like the direction of a lot of things that were happening there. And I already knew that I hated the work life balance of what I was doing. I've been in that career on, different aspects of that career for 20 years. And the work life balance had always been jacked up.
mm.
So getting in and seeing the potential and seeing what had happened with you, uh, I don't know, the gears started turning that I could actually make this work. So, as you very well know, we like to tell the story like I just up and decided to quit my job, which is accurate, but really it was still just kind of an experiment. I figured if I started health coaching and by some fluke of nature I was able to come anywhere close to making enough money to pay my bills, then that would be a miracle, and maybe I could do it. But really, I just figured I would do health coaching for, you know, 3 to 6 months and not make anything of it. And that I would then have to go back and find another job at a different company because I was definitely fed up with the company at the time. As you know, that's not what happened. That's where history began. And
Mm.
I was just able to start helping a whole lot of people. And in pretty short order, I had met and surpassed my corporate income as a health coach. And I've been doing that, sustaining, myself and my family, and helping hundreds of people get healthy uh, over the last 2 years. And it kind of builds on itself because yeah, I'm making income, which is great. I'm also getting all these rewards mentally from having people actually appreciate what we do
Mm.
versus every other job I ever had where the client was always, complaining. That's more.
True.
If you're in service industry, the client is never happy. Like, it's just your job to mitigate the client's unhappiness. Whereas in this job, clients, just like I was to you, are just, dude, like, you changed my life. Like, thank you. I can't believe this. Why did I not do this sooner? Um, so it's been a lot of fun.
Well,
And
just to be clear, we didn't change your life. You decided to get healthy. That was your choice. Maybe we were just inspiring enough to tip you over to say, to consider it. And the same thing happened with
yeah,
health coaching. That was, you made a choice for you, which was really cool, and you did what you wanted to with it, right? You made
yeah.
something
Well,
out of
you
it.
opened the door for me
Yeah,
though by
that's it. Yeah.
being brave enough to live it out loud, and really showing me that was the value in that.
Yeah.
That's what allowed me to take on I don't want to say I changed, just things that were important to me changed.
Mm,
And now I have this persona, and it's very funny. I mean, people that know me from further back, they can't believe what they're seeing. And other folks who have only met me more recently, you know how it is. They just assume this has always been my thing, and that
mm.
I'm just the health and wellness guy.
No, I
They
love
don't
it.
even recognize how much things have changed there.
Tell me, we're kind of coming to the close here, but so, obviously things have happened financially with you in your business, and you've really grown a really wonderful business helping folks. But on the health side, um, folks would always tell me like, hey, when you become a health coach, there's going to be some accountability that's kind of ingrained. Um, which I honestly, when I was told that, I didn't believe it. I'm like, oh, this is what they say. We'll see, right? Because I was still a young coach, like you had mentioned. Have you found that there's been some accountability in your own health as a result of being a health coach?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, there's some that just comes naturally, and it's not like it just saved you, but I definitely went through a period of, not doing so well in my health. And what I saw, well, for one thing, I saw my business suffering as my health was suffering. And on top of that, my kind of most importantly, I saw clients, starting to slow in their progress. And that's when it really hit me. Like, I am the what's the guy in the front of the boat telling everyone how to row? Like, this is my boat. These people are looking to me, and if I show them, well, it's okay to only lose a pound a week and to cheat every other day, then that's what they do.
Mm,
Whereas if I lead with my health, then they're kind of see what's possible, and
right.
they follow me on that front.
No, I love that. I love that. Well, I want to make sure that I've asked a lot of questions, and when whoever's watching this heard it quite a bit. Is there anything that I'm missing that you want anybody to hear in regards to, what this could do for their health, or what coaching could do for them if that's ever something they decide to do? What would you want to tell someone who's listening right now?
I would just want to tell them that it's a process, and that it starts with the first step, and that they don't have to know the whole way, and they don't even have to believe what's possible. If they're just willing to be coachable, this is in their health and in their business. If they decide to coach, is that, just be coachable and be open to following in the footsteps of people that go before you. Just
Mm,
like I was just talking about with the rowing the boat, it's the
yeah,
same in the health and in the business. I don't have to be able to see the way for everything. I just need to be able to say, this is something I'm doing, and put the effort in, and to keep looking to those before me to see what has worked. Your brother,
mhm,
I'm watching him and how he's builds muscle, and I learned from him, and I watch you lose all that weight, and I followed you in that, and you and so many others that I follow, and how to, build a successful business, and how to be a better coach, and actually teach that to other people, that you're capable of so much more than you imagine. And that is really kind of my final thought on it, is that you cannot even imagine how your life can change if you just make a commitment and a decision that you're ready for it to change.
mm,
It's not push this button and magic happens, but it is very simple in that it's a decision. I'm going to be better 3 months from now. And I'm going to be better 6 months after that than I am at that point, and on and on and on. And sometimes it's slow. Sometimes there might be a detour, but just recognizing that we can do so much more. And that's what I'm so thankful about with this program, is just that, you know, to take me out of a career path that, I mean, I knew it. I could see it. I've seen the movie. I know where it was going.
mm,
I know that the next 10, 20 years, where my health was going to be, where my income was going to be. Yes, I knew I was going to retire, I had a 401k and all doing all the right things, but no, not to see the potential like I see now,
Mm,
and not to be, I mean, not only the potential, but the reality of what's happening right now.
I love it, man. Well, brother, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you and share your story with those folks who are going to see this. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to this to begin with, all the way from the start. We're going
Absolutely.
to have a lot of fun, and hopefully some other folks will join us.
Exactly. Exactly.